All right, boys, here's your complete no BS guide to men's grooming. I see so many influencers recommending stuff that I would never use myself, nor is needed for other guys. These are all items that I personally use on a day-to-day or even weekly basis to make myself look and feel better. So I hope you guys find this video valuable, and of course, you can find everything linked in the description below. Now let's get into it. First, let's start with oral hygiene. Now we all know that everybody's first impression usually starts with a smile. So I have a couple of key items here. The first one is a tongue scraper. I've seen this talked about a little bit more recently on social media, which I am really glad about because it's been a product I've been using for at least 2 or 3 years now. They only cost like $8 on Amazon and honestly make a world of difference. Even if you're flossing or brushing your teeth, a lot of the bacteria in your mouth lives on your tongue. And honestly, once I used the tongue scraper one time, I realized how much gook came off of it, and I was pretty grossed out to say the least. But right afterwards, my mouth definitely felt a lot more clean. Bad breath is a massive turnoff. You just never want to be that guy. So I personally think that this is one of the best products to avoid that. Now, on the topic of a good smile, I don't care how straight your teeth are if they're not white. And you typically notice it in those more intimate moments or when you're standing only a couple feet away from somebody. So if it's the type of person that you're trying to leave a lasting impression on, you definitely don't want them to notice that your teeth are a little yellow. And the one thing I really never understood about this is it's actually such an easy thing to do. Now, definitely don't go overboard with this. Just to get some Crest teeth whitening strips and do this about once every 6 months. Even a couple years ago, I went to a dentist to get a chip in my tooth fixed, and they said I had the lightest possible color for the filling that they had. So that told me I was doing something right. And at that time, I hadn't even whitened my teeth in 2 years. But for about 90% of people I'd meet, I would say that their teeth are not white enough. Now, I don't know about you guys, but when someone's teeth are too white, it gives me a bit of a jump scare. They definitely look fake. But on the other end of the spectrum, if they're not white enough, then it almost looks like you don't care about your hygiene and that it's dirty, and who wants to kiss that? Let's just be honest. All right, let's talk about a big one, and that's skincare. And this is gonna be a really high level and super quick and simple. First up, you need a good facial cleanser. I like CeraVe and Kiehl's for this. It does a lot more than just splashing water on your face. It actually cleans your pores. Doing this strips the natural oils off your face. The next thing you wanna do is moisturize. I started implementing this step about a year ago and adding some type of age defense serum. Honestly, the sooner you start this, the better, but as I'm approaching 30 this year in September, I'm seeing even more importance on this step. Using these serums just reduces the fine lines and wrinkles in your face. I have a couple products I've been using for this from Nivea and Lab Series, and I have no complaints. I feel like they've been working. It's really hard to notice a difference like right off the jump, but definitely just a good step to implement into your routine. Those can be a little pricey, so if you don't want to make that big jump, maybe just go in with some hyaluronic acid from the Ordinary brand. This is only $8, and hyaluronic acid is essentially the underlying ingredient in both of those products. And after that, rather than using body lotion, get yourself a good facial moisturizer. Again, I think Kiehl's is the best here. And step number 4, and kind of the bonus tip, but this is definitely needed in the warmer months, and that's adding some sunscreen. It's just gonna protect your face from those harmful UV rays and ultimately keep you looking younger for longer. I like to use this sunscreen from La Roche-Posay, another really high quality, good brand. It's funny, when you're younger, I feel like you wanna look older, and then once you start to get older, you just wanna look younger. So that's the stage I'm at now. Now you can do all of those steps, and generally I feel like I have very clear skin. But sometimes it's unavoidable, you get stressed out, or maybe you had a really bad weekend of eating and drinking. It's unavoidable, and you're likely to get some pimples at some point. This is a hack I literally just learned within the last year, and you've probably seen it much more popularized by girls on TikTok wearing pimple patches. But honestly, they're not just for girls, they're for men too. I actually conveniently have one on my lip right now. But if you get one pop up at an inconvenient time, if you can throw it on overnight, that is ideal. It will honestly shock you how much it clears up your zit. But if you're in a bit of a pinch, you can only put it on for a few hours. It's definitely better than nothing. But I'm telling you, this will make a world of difference, and I swear, pimples just really seem to come up at the most inconvenient times. So these are always good to have on you. Now, obviously, hair care is an entire category on its own, so we won't go too deep into that, but one item I think every guy should own is a blow dryer. And not just any blow dryer, specifically an ionic blow dryer. I've been using this for 3 years. I mean, for one, it just helps with getting ready so much easier, like your hair just dries so much faster. But also, if you have the problem of having more flat hair, which I certainly do, it just adds so much natural volume to your hair. Now, I can recognize I don't have the most impressive head of hair, but I really like my hairstyle personally. But if you find any other guy on YouTube with like the perfect head of hair, I guarantee they're gonna use a blow dryer in their routine. That's where I learned it from. Ionic hair dryers also leave your hair shinier and more smooth. It also helps to reduce frizzing if that's a problem that you experience too. Plus, they produce less heat, which therefore damages your hair less. Here's a fun fact that actually really sucks. 66% of men by the age of 35 notice hair thinning or hair loss. And even crazier, 25% of men by age 21 notice hair thinning or hair loss. I am one of those unfortunate people. But a product that really helps is just a natural hair oil serum. This is called Main Solution from Amazon, and I've been using it for about a year now, and I definitely feel like I've noticed some positive changes. Ultimately, it just helps stimulate hair growth, whether that's a thicker head of hair or hopefully in a best case scenario, regrowing some of your hair too. It has a ton of the most important ingredients in it, like pumpkin seed oil, castor oil, and so on. You can read the list for yourself. Trust me, I would not be recommending this to you guys. Like, I have been fighting hair loss since I was 21, so I do think it's definitely a beneficial product. And again, it's all natural, so you don't have to worry about any negative side effects like some other products out there. Again, this is another really important step to implement sooner than later, because if you do start noticing hair loss, it's much harder to grow it back than it is to maintain the hair that you already have. Losing your hair is the absolute worst thing. I don't care what anybody says. The worst habit I used to have was biting my nails. I physically could not stop myself, and it was honestly one of the grossest things. Like, I knew it was a terrible habit, and I was embarrassed for people to see my hands. That was probably all the way back in high school, so well over 10 years ago. But what really helped me curb that really bad habit was nail clippers and a file. Funny enough, these are really minimal, small details that people do notice. If you have really overgrown fingernails, or even worse, you bite your fingernails, people are just gonna notice that, and unfortunately probably judge you in some way for it. So every 7 to 10 days, I just like to take a nail clipper and a file and just round them out, make them look nice and manicured. It's a very simple step, but I'm telling you, with so many of these things, it really is in the details, and people that care notice. Being overly hairy is another unnecessary thing in my opinion. So I have one tool that I really love to use for this. It's the Manscaped lawnmower. It's just essentially a grooming tool. It comes with this guard on it, which I think is about 2 or 3 millimeters. So you're not gonna walk around looking like a naked mole rat. And you also don't have to worry about it nicking you and you bleeding as well. I've been using this product for I think since 2020, so 4 or 5 years now. And I have nothing bad to say about it. It's just a solid grooming tool. You can use it on your chest, obviously down below for the boys as well. And ultimately, it's just a great tool to have. Also, when it comes to being overly hairy, it's important to shave your nose hairs. Now, this is something I only need to do once every 3 weeks. And I imagine, unfortunately, the older I get, the more frequently I'll have to do it. But again, it's just one of those things when you're sitting close to somebody and looking at them and you notice their nose hairs, it's hard to unsee. And again, it's in the details, so it's a really quick, simple thing that you can do. I think it's safe to say we probably all shave one way or another, and whether you prefer that smooth look or more of a stubble look, personally, I prefer a stubble. And so if you're in that boat, I would recommend getting the Philips Norelco One Blade. I've been using this for years and years and years. This is obviously, none of these items are sponsored. I wish I was sponsored by this particular product, because it's just, I simply could not live without it. It's a great multi-purpose tool for obviously cleaning up your neck, which do not have a neck beard, not a good look, and also just lining up your beard as well. And then also using it as a trimmer for your beard too. It comes with a 1, 3, and 5 millimeter attachment. Personally, I like the 3 millimeter best. I think it's that perfect length for a nice stubble. But if you prefer more of that clean look and you could be in finance or something, so that totally makes sense, then maybe skip this item, just because for a more fine shave, I think there are better products for you. Next to your smile, the eyes and eyebrows are pretty much the second, or even sometimes the first impression. Surprisingly, I get so many comments, and yes, they're positive comments, of how well groomed my eyebrows are. And honestly, it's really simple. It's just something that you have to do once every week or 2 weeks or so. But for one, plucking them with a pair of tweezers is the easiest, most simple thing you can do. And honestly, every guy should be doing this. You don't have to go overboard and go crazy, but just cleaning up around the eyebrow is honestly so important, especially the unibrow area. Again, it just comes down to that attention to detail, and it really shows that you care about how you look. If you want to take it to the next step, I always get asked if I thread my eyebrows or if I do anything special. I don't, but I do use a pair of eyebrow scissors. And the technique for this is honestly really easy. I just push my eyebrow hair up, and sometimes you can see one twice as long as all the other hairs, and it's really simple. Obviously, you just cut it and make it an even length compared to the others. Again, you don't want to go overboard with this, because sometimes if you pluck your eyes too much, I think it looks weird. So you just want to clean up the general area, and honestly, it does make such a big difference. And having your eyebrows be more groomed can make you more expressive, and honestly, therefore, more attractive. I'm not making this up. If you found this video helpful, throw it a like, and please subscribe. And again, you can find all of the items linked below in the description. Other than that, I'll see you guys on the next one.